Namaste and welcome to Beginner Yoga. My name is Marisa Segundo, and today we're going to have a grounding class. So we're going to stay on our mats for the most part on the earth and hope to ground us, which is good when your head is all over the place. So we'll start today's practice with our hands at heart center and the first Yoga Sutra, which in Sanskrit is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. So join in if you'd like. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. And please join me in the sound and vibration of Om. Inhaling to prepare. And just allow that Om to reverberate throughout your body. And with your hands at heart center, take a moment to create an intention for your practice, for your life, or for this moment. Hold that intention in your heart and then clear it from your mind as you either leave your hands at heart center or draw them along your sides, connecting thumb and forefinger. And just take this time to slow down, inviting the outside world to remain outside as you remain focused on the person who's on your mat. Watching your breath, noticing how it comes in and out naturally without changing it. Just allow your forehead to relax, eyes to close gently or to remain focused on one single point. Invite your facial features to soften. Allow your top jaw to separate from your bottom jaw and your tongue to hang loose in your mouth. Just feel your body beginning to just slow down, your mind slowing down, just letting the day just float away as you remain focused on the rhythm of your breath. In our yogic breath, we breathe in through our nose, allowing that air to travel deep into your belly, expanding your belly with air. As you exhale, collapsing your belly, inviting that air to travel up and out your nostrils. Connecting with the rhythm of your yogic breath, as that will guide you through your yoga practice. And just connect in this moment as you allow waves of relaxation to start at the very tip of your spine and gently travel down to the base of your spine. Now, if your mind is trying to wander, you can bring it back to a mantra, very simple as Om, or maybe some type of calming word. Maybe it's the word home or some other word that brings you calm. You may even try counting your breaths, noticing if you breathe in for 4 inhales, count to 4, and then exhale on the count of 4. And then just try to lengthen those each time. Noticing the temperature of your breath as it enters your nostrils. And then if that temperature changes as it leaves your nostrils. And then bring your attention to your sits bones, where you're connecting and grounded to the earth. And just think about kind of lifting up slightly with your rib cage, but grounding deeply into your sits bones. And just feel how that feels on the earth. How stable that feels. And when you've connected fully with your breath, on your next inhale, rolling the shoulders back and down, lengthening the spine. Exhale slowly. Inhale to align. And then as you exhale, draw the chin down toward the chest as the crown of the head falls forward. Feel the length in the back of the neck. You can either hang your head forward, or if you want to get a little bit of movement, you can bring your chin kind of towards your right knee for a moment, and then bring that back down. Then over to your left knee for a moment, and back to center. Inhale the chin to center. And as you exhale, elevate the chin all the way up to the sky. Crown of the head falls backward. And if you want to find a little bit of extra space here, you can place the bottom lip over the top lip. Feeling the length in the front of the neck. If you want to get a tiny little bit of motion here, you can still look from side to side. Maybe a little bit less comfortable than when you're looking downward. So maybe just very small motions here. Inhale back to center. Placing the hands at heart center. And if you need to switch which foot is in front, go ahead and do that at any time. Sometimes our toes fall asleep of sitting in Sukhasana or seated posture. We'll place our clasped hands at heart center. Inhale them up over our head. Find a little back bend, just a tiny, tiny back bend. Drawing your thumbs towards the back of the room. Come back to center just for a moment. Place the palms forward. I'm even finding Om Mudra up in the air as my thumb and pointer fingers come together before we very slowly start to make one big circle. Palms forward, and eventually drawing the hands to Anjali Mudra or prayer position. Just take your time, being mindful of all of your movements here. Inhaling the clasped hands up. Once again, exhaling down with the right hand, reaching tall with the left, and then tipping down on the right hand side. Really feel the length through the side body. And it doesn't matter how far down you go, especially as early in our process, but as we were talking about grounding with our sits bones, think about grounding a little bit more on the left hand side and see how that very subtle movement really helps you to connect with the side body. Opening the heart to the sky as we really focus on that side body. Inhaling the fingertips up to the sky, a little tiny back bend, both hands are in the air. Exhale down with the left hand, reaching tall with the right, and then tipping down on the left hand side. Nice length in the side body, opening the heart. And remember what's going on with your arm length. If you have really long arms, it may be easier for you to come down on your forearms. If you have shorter arms, you may want to come onto your fingertips. So just keep that in mind. Your gaze can be up at your top fingers, down at your bottom fingers, whatever feels good. Inhale both hands up to the sky. Little tiny, tiny back bend, just pointing the thumbs towards the back of the room before we exhale, bowing forward. So our fingertips come to the earth in front of us, and then we'll walk our hands over to the right hand side, pressing into the earth more on the left hand side than the right, so you can really, once again, feel this in the side body. Head can hang forward, shake from side to side if that feels good. Exhale, journey back to the center again, press into the earth. Inhale to realign. Exhale and walking our hands all the way over to the left hand side, pressing into that right hand so you can feel that through the right hand side body. And when you're ready, inhale, walking the hands back to center. Press into the earth as you exhale. Inhale, fingertips all the way up to the sky. Let's do one nice circle. Taking your time, drawing the shoulder blades together and bringing the hands back to heart center. Then we'll take our arms and bring them out to a T. So if you feel like you're leaning from one side to the other, this is a good one to check. Rolling the shoulders back and down. See if you can soften your hands too. A lot of times when our arms are out to the side, we kind of do this little dippy thing with our hands. We want them to be strong, but one long line of energy from fingertip to fingertip. And just spend a moment drawing the shoulder blades together, maybe even drawing the pinkies toward the back of the room. Bending the elbows and finding cactus arms. So once again, seeing if you can get that long line of energy, which will enable you to maybe lift up your arms a tiny bit. And then drawing the elbows together. So we have our hands, our forearms together here. If this feels good to you, you can stay here. If you want to find eagle arms, you can lengthen the arms forward, cross the left arm over the right, bring the back of the hands together, front of the hands together. And you want to have this thumb, the left thumb, pointed right at your third eye or higher if you want to bring your arms up. So be helpful if you if you've got a larger chest, man or woman. And if it feels good to you and you want to bow forward, you can feel this nice separation in your shoulder blades. And remember, you can always take a step back. So if eagle arms doesn't feel right, you can just bring the back of the arms together, or bring the forearms together how they were. See about grounding down with your sits bones in the back. That may mean that you can't bow as far close to the earth or as close to the earth as you wanted to. So, and that's okay. When you're ready, elevate, unravel the arms, and give yourself just a nice shoulder rub. So this is a self-care thing you can do at any time of the day. Also helps your flexibility, and you give yourself a little back rub, so it's a good thing. If you want to get into your upper back, you can do that too. Or if you want to just focus on your neck, you can do that. So lots of options open to you. So we'll unravel our arms, drawing the arms back to a T. Once again, if you need to switch which foot is in front, I mentioned this is a floor class, so we're going to move around a little bit, but your feet may fall asleep, and that's okay. So bringing our arms to a T, bending at the elbows, finding cactus arms, drawing the shoulder blades together. We're opening the heart, letting all this good energy in. Elevating the elbows if we can for engagement. And then drawing them together. Feel the shoulder blades separate. So your options are, you can just leave your hands, your forearms together. If you want a little bit more engagement, you can interlock all of your fingers except for your pointer fingers and thumbs. Or if you want to extend the arms out, this time cross the right elbow over the left, bring the back of the hands together, then the front of the hands together. And if eagle arms is not where you want to be, you can even just leave the back of the arms together. You can use a strap if that is helpful to extend your arms a bit. But there's nothing magical about eagle arms except for you really can get into your upper back a little bit more. And it may look like a fun party trick. So if you want to bow forward, you can do that if that feels good. Still grounding into the sits bones. Remember, you want this thumb to touch your third eye or be a little bit higher. And when you're ready, inhaling up, bringing the hands to the shoulders or to the neck or wherever feels good, the upper back. Give yourself a massage. And then when you're ready, You can even go all the way down your arms if that feels good. And unravel, bringing the arms back to a T. And then we'll circle our arms back, our hands back to Anjali Mudra. Okay, let's unravel our legs a little bit, lengthen them out. And since they've been crossed for a little while, they may be a little bit more sensitive. So maybe just bounce the knees out a bit alternately or at the same time, whatever feels good. Just kind of soften this up. Roll the shoulders back and down so you find Dandasana or staff pose. It's a nice long spine, flexing the feet in a strong way. If your legs aren't ready for that, you can also bend the knees a little bit. You can put a rolled blanket or a towel underneath your knees for support if that feels good. The main thing you can really see with the side profile is that you want to have this alignment in the neck all the way down to the hips. So you can kind of see if you're jutting your neck out, you want to have a nice long line of energy, having your chakras align. So you can either place your hands on your thighs, place them right by your side, rolling your shoulders back and down. If you have longer arms, you can come onto, or shorter arms, you can come onto your fingertips, just like we did when we were on the earth in those side body stretches. And just bring your gaze to your big toe. Connecting with your breath and simply waiting. Many times, and I have a class full of students, we will be in Dandasana and I will see people start to wiggle because they want to go to the next posture, but just spend a moment to simply be. You've given yourself this gift of time. So just be and breathe and try to control your wiggles. So we'll place our hands at heart center once again, inhaling the clasped hands up. Let's just find an open twist to the left-hand side. So nice long spine, lifting up at the rib cage, pressing into the left leg with the right hand. It's an open twist, so we don't need to stress out too much with this one. You can, or at all, because it's a yoga class. See here, gaze can be over the left hand shoulder. If you're craving a deeper twist, even this early in a practice, you can place the sole of your left foot on the earth and find a closed twist. Now, if you've opted for a closed twist, remember this isn't a gear shift. So we want to make sure that this left knee is strong, pressing into the left pinky toe and just very lightly touching your left leg. Gaze is over the back left shoulder. Connecting with your breath. Just take a moment to feel how the breath in a closed twist or even an open twist changes a little bit. And then accommodate for that. All right, and we'll twist back, finding your hands at heart center, lengthening both legs out. If you want to pop your knees a little bit, maybe hard to see. And I'm going to switch to the other side. So nice long spine, rolling shoulders back and down. This time this is the right leg. So we'll bring we'll spend a moment still in Dandasana. Wherever you opt to have your hands, just take a couple of really slow and mindful breaths to be present in this moment. And then when you're ready, we'll place our hands at heart center. Inhale the clasped hands up. Exhale, open twist. Now to the right hand side. Left hand is on the right leg and your gaze is up your back shoulder. You can use your back hand as a little bit of like the rudder of a ship. So we're controlling our twist and opening it a little bit more. You'll find you have more room during an open twist, but if you close your twist, you may not be able to twist as far. So definitely play with both of these. Make sure you're flexing your back or your front left foot. And we're not moving this from side to side. We want to keep it nice and stable so it's aligned with our hip. Nice big belly breath here. Maybe not too much of a big belly breath because of where our knees are. One more breath. Releasing the backhand, lengthening the front leg. This time we're going to just bow forward. As we're bowing forward, we'll shake our head from side to side and up and down. Really feel that curvature in your spine. And we'll bring the soles of our feet together, Baddha Konasana, nice long spine. Each of the toes are touching the opposite mate on the other side, hands at heart center. And with our hands at heart center, we're elevating up from the rib cage. And we'll just bounce our knees a little bit. Getting a little bit of motion. Working through the lower body. Nice long spine, shoulders rolled back and down. And we'll pause our butterfly wings, lengthen with the left foot. We'll leave the right foot kind of tucked into the left thigh, inner thigh. A nice long spine. We're going to turn our belly button towards the pinky toe. And still with this nice long spine, we're going to find Janu Sirsasana. And so our lower body's kind of in looks like a 4. Nice long spine. And we don't round the spine, even though our temptation, we want to get to that toe. I see the toes, I want to get there. But in Janu Sirsasana, we're just kind of focusing on a long spine right now, and it's a tiny little twist. It's not much of a difference. So I'm going to do this like that so you can see, and I'm just turning my belly button a little bit towards that pinky toe. Using my fingertips to press into the earth tonight to maintain the nice long spine. We're just going to walk our hands forward. And if you want to grab that foot, you can. So I just put my foot off, or my heel off the mat, and notice it's uncomfortable. So I took my yoga pants and extended them, which is another way you can give yourself support when you don't have an additional mat. So you can grab for the left pinky toe if you'd like, and then the right arm can come up over the head, nice long side body stretch. Should feel good. We're going to take this upper arm and get some motion in the shoulder. So 2 rotations this way, and then the opposite way. And if there's a spot that's like talking to you, you can stay in that spot and kind of go back and forth if that feels good. Remember, it's your yoga practice. Doesn't matter what else is going on. This is for you. We're going to take our upper arm, swoop that right behind us, place the right arm near the right hip, left arm, our left palm up towards the ceiling. You may need to adjust just a little bit. So what you want to do is make sure that you've got some padding for this front right knee. So we have our right hand behind us, left palm up towards the sky. In this situation, we're going to pull up with the left hip and over our head with the left arm, so we get a nice long stretch throughout our body. From the left pinky finger all the way down to the left pinky toe. And we'll swoop all the way down. If you want a nice long swoop, you can do that and stretch both arms if that feels good. If you want to take another moment on the side body, you can do that too before we windmill the arms around. Now to the other side. So extending long, with the right leg. And since you know that eventually we're going to end up onto our left knee, go ahead and scoot yourself back a little bit so you have some mat on your knee. If you have sensitive knees, you can always add more padding. Have a piece of a mat or a secondary mat nearby, or a yoga pad is good too. So Janu Sirsasana, turning towards the, and it's we're going to turn our belly button towards the pinky toe, pressing into the earth with our fingertips. And I don't know if you can see this because my fingertips aren't on the earth, but I'm literally pressing into the earth as if it's rising and I need to push it down. And that's going to help to really get into this twist. It's a nice long spine, shoulders back, rolled back and down. And then just walking a hand length or two forward. It's good for the lower back. Nice long spine. You see that pinky toe? You want to grab it, but we're not there yet. And then eventually we'll start to round the spine, and you can grab the pinky toe. And if you can't, it's not a big deal because it's not a contest. So we have our left arm reaches up tall over our head, makes this crescent moon shape. And then we do this nice rounded motion 2 times on each side. Remember, if there's a spot you want to stay and just hang out there for a minute, do that. And then we'll swoop our upper arm all the way back behind us towards our left hip. Right hand up towards the sky. Remember, we're going to extend upward with the right hip at the same time. And then this front right foot is going to pivot to the earth. So pivoting all the way down, reaching up towards the sky. Look, I have something I can grab onto. So if you have something that could be a barrier, use it as a benefit. So I'm going to use this by kind of grabbing onto it and allowing it to extend my stretch. And then swooping that arm down. I think last time we came really close to our foot. And then swooping, windmilling both arms down and around. And eventually it hands to heart center. Okay, so we've opened the hips a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and let's bring the soles of our feet the width of the mat, so heel toe your feet, so they're the width of the mat, hands behind you, and we'll just do some really quick windshield wipers. And I say quick in the way we want to match our breath with our motion. So inhale, our knees up, exhale them down. And while you're doing this, if you need a little bit more and you want to cross your ankle over your knee, opposite ankle over the knee, you can do that too. Get a little bit of a twist in there. Engagement for the lower body. And we'll come back to center. So let's flip our knees around, come onto hands and knees, and find yourself in a tabletop position. As always, you'll want to make sure your fingers are spread wide apart and active, pressing into your thumb and pointer finger. Knees are just below the hips. One long line of energy. Notice if you have any dips or bends in your back before. Just spend a moment, take a nice deep breath in tabletop position so you can feel what a neutral spine feels like. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale, melt the heart forward. Shoulder blades come together. Last thing that comes up is the crown of the head. If you like the bottom lip over the top lip, you can do that here. Exhale, round the spine. Allow the head to hang forward. Shake it from side to side or up and down. Inhale and melt the heart forward. Exhale and round the spine. Inhale. You can either continue your cats and cows in this position, or if you want to bring your hands one hand length closer towards your knees and do a scaredy cow and a scaredy cat. You can do that too. Maybe you want to stay in a neutral spine and then just walk from side to side because you want to get into the side body. It's all your option, what your body needs. Now remember, you can do this in any yoga class at any time. Always in a judgment-free zone in a yoga practice. We'll place our hands 1 or 2 hand lengths in front and melt down into a child's pose. Balasana. And if this feels good, you can stay right here for a little while. If you want more motion, you can still get into the side body and go from side to side, or if you can just pause in your extended child's pose. From our extended child's pose, we'll elevate up just enough to shift the hips forward and find cobra. So if cobra is not where you want to be and you want to be closer towards the earth for a baby cobra, so the shoulder blades still come together, you get a nice little extension in the lower back, you can do that. If you want to be on your forearms for a Sphinx pose, you can do that too. So many options, no right or wrong answer. So wherever you're at, we're gonna tuck our toes for a moment. Press into a plank pose. While we're in our plank pose, we're gonna just walk our plank a little bit. Normally we'd extend up into a downward facing dog, but I'd like to spend a moment just walking our plank. If you're feeling a lot of compression in your wrist, there's a couple of things you can do. You can find a little bit of kind of a C shape or a curvature, almost like a claw in your palms. You also may want to make sure that your wrists are just below your shoulders. Now, we're going to pivot both feet to the side and find a side plank. Oh my gosh, I thought this was a grounding class. So your feet may come up a little bit, and that's okay, or they can connect with the earth. And we'll swoop that back down and walk our plank again. I'm going to switch my plank to the other side. And we'll pivot both feet down. Oops. Both feet down. And extend up, side plank. What is happening here? And we'll swoop the upper arm down and walk our plank a little bit more. So that little tiny bit of cardio should be helpful. And we're going to lower down onto our knees and all the way down into an extended child's pose. So from our extended child's pose, we can extend into the earth. We'll elevate our hips and shift back once again into a cobra. Cobra, baby cobra, or Sphinx, whatever feels good for you. All right. Then we're going to come back onto our knees. So we're just sitting on our knees in a hero's pose. Nice long spine again. Hands are on our thighs. And then from here, we'll place our hands, our fingertips on the earth in front of us. We'll elevate our hips slightly, tuck our toes, And no, I'm not going into downward facing dog. We're going to elevate our knees up a little and find ourselves in a squat. So here we are in Malasana. You need to jump your feet apart a little bit because maybe this is too hard on your ankles. You can do that. You can even put a little support underneath your heels if you need to. So I think it's fun in a squat to kind of get some motion from side to side. That also helps our ankle strength. So I don't know if it's easy enough to see, but here you can lift your feet up from side to side, if that's good. You don't have to hop. That was my effect of moving, giving myself more space on the mat. So we're going to take our left leg and extend it out to the side. One of the things you want to be mindful of is that your right knee is aligned with the right hip, that you're not overextending too much. You may need to come up even a little bit higher. Pressing in to the left pinky toe. And notice I came up quite a bit higher, and that way we can get as much length as we can on the inner thigh. So pressing into the left pinky toe, eventually walking our hands to center and then all the way to the left hand side, lengthening through the right pinky toe. Maybe come up higher, like I said. You can even use your left elbow into the left knee a little bit if that feels good. You can use blocks here too to support your hands if that feels good. We'll work our way back to center. I'm going to scooch both feet in and find just a little bitty baby goddess pose. So we're on the earth. You can bring your elbows on the inside of the knees if that feels good. Do this to the side so you can kind of see. All right, then the hands come back to the earth and just heel toe your feet out to the side for a wide-legged stretch. You can walk your hands forward if that feels good, pressing into the back body. Connecting with your breath. If you have blocks, you can come onto blocks here, or a bolster, whatever feels good. Maybe shake the head from side to side and up and down. Maybe you want some motion, bending opposite knees if that feels good. And if you want to even place your hands long in front of you for a wide-legged downward facing dog, that's an option that's open to you. And then when you're ready, we can walk our hands forward. Heel toe our feet together. Hey, if you want to take a regular downward facing dog, you can. We're already here. So you can walk your dog. And then from our downward facing dog, since we're here anyways, we'll extend back to a three-legged dog. And then bend that right knee so it comes in towards the right wrist. And we find ourselves in a pigeon pose. So nice long pigeon first. Rolling shoulders back and down. Making any adjustments for the lower body. So we want to make sure that our kneecap is parallel, our left kneecap is parallel to the earth. You may need to adjust your toe. It seems like a very small thing, but having your big toe aligned with your kneecap will help to prevent injury and also extend your pigeon. And if you feel good, you can walk your hands forward and recline your pigeon. Also, if you need any support for the right hip, if it's really high off the earth, you can add a rolled up towel, blanket, a block, whatever feels good. So you can come onto your forearms, or you can just relax your head forward. You can also use a bolster or a block here to support your head. Connecting with your breath. Feeling the lower body just kind of surrender to the pigeon pose. And making adjustments. As you surrender into a posture, your body will naturally move. So make any adjustments that you need to make so you can optimize your changing stretch. Pigeon is excellent for lower back issues. Opening up the hip. And for some, this isn't their favorite stretch, and there's an alternative you can do on your back, which is reclined pigeon. So imagine what we're doing with our legs, but with your knee in toward your chest rather than to the earth. So open yourself up to whatever options are best for you at this time. Now we'll place our hands very slowly coming out of our pigeon. We'll tuck our back left toe. Swoop that right leg up to the, look, I found something to put my leg on. Use your barriers as benefits. And then we'll draw that down to the earth. So we'll elevate this time with the left foot. And if you want to bend the knee so you open the hip before we draw the left knee in towards the left wrist to find pigeon on the left-hand side. Make any adjustments you need to make to ground down with the left hip, or raise up with a block, folded towel or blanket, whatever works. Remember that back right big toe. Sometimes the toes will go from side to side. We want it to be a nice extension of our right leg and subsequently of our right hip. Nice long spine, shoulders roll back and down. Our temptation is always to recline our pigeon as early as possible. I see my students all the time just go, oh, pigeon, all right. But take your time and focus on your posture, squaring the hips before you lower yourself down. Remember, pigeon is a heart opening posture, but when we recline our pigeon, it's not as much of an open heart posture. So take your time, think about what's going on with your kneecap, with your back toe. It's a small, subtle movement that makes a huge difference in your flexibility, in your yoga positioning. So don't disregard that. And then you can lower onto the forearms or onto the earth. You can use a bolster or a block here. Decide what works for you. And check in with the right leg. See what's going on with that. Is it strong? Is it extending the muscles there? Are you getting as much as you want to get out of this posture? Also checking in with the left leg, because you should feel extension in the glutes. So we'll hold this for a couple more breaths. And from here, we'll roll onto our left hip. Pivot with the right knee behind us and work our way, doing some awkward scooching onto our back. So rolling the shoulders back and down, extending the legs long as if we are in, well, we are in Shavasana, but we're not quite to Shavasana, the Shavasana part of our practice. So just spend a moment in the posture Shavasana. So our palms are up towards the sky, shoulders rolled back and down, knees are in line with the hips, ankles are in line with the knees, one long line of energy. And we'll very slowly start to walk our knees in towards our glutes. And elevate both knees up towards the sky. If you have a block and you want to place the block right underneath your sits bones, you can do that. That will also bring tension off of your lower back. But if you don't have a block, it's okay too. So we're going to take our left ankle, cross it over the right hip. Then we're going to thread the needle. So my hand just went right between where my knee is and extend long with the right leg. You can do some ankle circles. So if you're doing circles one way, you can do it the other. And then, I don't know if I can do this based on this space I have. So I need to scoot over. So we've got our legs crossed over here. If you want to unthread your needle and allow your knees to fall over to the right hand side. And I'm actually going to use this wall that my knees just fell against as a benefit for me. So I'm just going to rest them on the wall, bend my knee just a little bit so I can counterbalance my twist with the wall. So my knees fell to the right, my gaze is towards the left. Should be a nice lower body twist. Then you can make adjustments as you need to. If you need to bend both knees, if that feels good, you can do that too. Upper hand can either be out to the side or on your left knee. And when you're ready, actually take a couple more breaths here before we move. And then when you're ready, now we'll elevate both legs up towards the sky. And if you want to do some ankle circles, or if you want to get a little bit of ab work here, you can do have your feet together and just do this connected circle. So if you're circling one direction, you need to circle the opposite. If you want a lot more abs, you can just lower your legs all the way to the earth very slowly, and then very slowly bring them back up. And this time we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, just above the left knee, threading the needle here. And we're doing these ankle circles. Think about drawing your legs as close, your top leg as close to your chest as you can. And we do these ankle circles, both directions. Now when you're ready, we'll unthread the needle. And very slowly allow our knees to fall right towards the camera, right? To the left-hand side. Our gaze will be towards the right. Shoulders are connecting with the earth. Nice lower body twist. connecting with your breath and staying present in this moment, despite distractions. Now when you're ready, very slowly, starting to draw your legs all the way up towards the sky, both legs. And then very, very slowly lowering, using your abs the whole way down, taking your time. Oh, it's horrible. It's actually not that bad. And then plop your legs on the mat. And find yourself in Shavasana. It's the real Shavasana this time. So we're going to lengthen our legs. If there's any final posture that your body is craving, whether that's happy baby pose or frog pose or bridge, whatever you need to complete your yoga practice, do that at this time. And then we'll all meet back in Shavasana. So remember, ankles are aligned with our knees are aligned with the hips, shoulders aligned with the knees, palms up towards the sky. If you need a bolster or a blanket underneath your knees or an eye pillow, you can do that to complete your yoga practice. So find whatever Shavasana feels comfortable for you in this moment. Now just take a mental scan of your body, noticing what you learned today. Without judgment. Just allow the rhythm of your breath to continue to guide you through your yoga practice. Maybe taking a moment to create or to remember the intention you created for yourself at the beginning of your practice. And without allowing that to distract you, just being really mindful of the rhythm of your breath. Staying fully present in this moment as you feel those waves of relaxation start at the very tip of your spine and gently travel down through the base of your spine, down your arms, down your legs and out your toes. Anything that doesn't want to come back, you just want to leave that on the mat with you. And whenever you're ready, very slowly starting to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, touching your thumb to each finger one at a time, connecting with the energies of earth, air, fire, and water. Sa, ta, na, na. Stretching your arms long above your head and your legs long in front of you. Stretching your energies from fingertips to tips of toes. Gently drawing your knees into your chest and giving them a hug. Rocking side to side or in a circle, massaging your lower back. And allow your knees to fall over to the right hand side, resting there for a moment in the fetal position. Our final resting posture is called Shavasana, or corpse pose, where we allow any unwanted thoughts, feelings, or energies to die in this posture. In this fetal position, we are reborn, ready to lead a new life of mindfulness, awareness of our body, breath, and all of the beautiful energy around us. Whenever you're ready, bringing only the good and positive energy with you, slowly help yourself up to an easy seated position. With a nice long spine and hands at heart center, I invite you to join me as we seal this practice as we begin with the sound and vibration of Om. Inhaling to prepare. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May your mind be open. May your words be mindful. May your heart be open and abundant with love. Namaste. Thank you for sharing in this yoga practice.